Hi, I'm Mike Klijanowicz, associate broker with Cummings and Company Realtors, coming to you from my office in Perry Hall today. And today I wanted to talk to you about selling your house through a short sale and what is involved with that process. Um, a lot of people are saying, well, how could somebody possibly be in a short sale situation right now where property values are so high and equity, people have so much equity in their homes? Well, I'll tell you, not everybody lives responsibly. Some people pull all the equity out of their homes, and this video may not necessarily be for somebody right now, but in the next few years, eventually prices are going to stabilize. Eventually, we're going to have some type of correction, just like the stock market had a correction. This is what people don't want to think about. There's going to be a correction in real estate, and the people buying homes today for these ridiculously inflated prices. I mean, looking at a basic cookie cutter single family home around here in Perry Hall in the $750,000 range when these homes used to be like $450,000 like 3 years ago. I mean, that's a lot of appreciation, and with interest rates being as high as they are, the market's not going to be able to continue to keep this going. Now, I'm not saying we're going to have the same type of thing happen that we did back in, '07, '08, '09. But, there are going to be people that are facing short sales and situations and, having to sell their home, but owing more on it than what they can sell it for. That's basically what a short sale is you owe more on the house than what you can actually sell it for. Um, but in order to participate with the short sale, there's a lot of stuff that's involved in the process, which is why it's so important to pick the right real estate agent to help you going through the short sale process. Okay. Agents who got their license, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, they don't know what a short sale is. They've never sold a short sale, probably, and they've never had to go through the process. But agents who've been in the business, and who were in the business in '08, '09, they know what short sales are, because if they didn't know what short sales were, they probably wouldn't be in the business right now, because all we had were short sales, you know? And there's a way to negotiate short sales, and there's a way to get them approved, and there's a process in place. The agents who've been through the program before, they know what to do, who to refer you to, and all that. A lender has a packet of tons of information that you're going to need to fill out to participate. And you got to fill out all your income. You got to fill out all your bank statements. You got to fill out everything about yourself. They want to know everything. And then they'll agree to either give you an approval to participate or not. But, what the better thing to do is to use an agent who works with a third party loss mitigation short sale team of experts, including a law firm and an attorney. And you're thinking to yourself, well, how can I afford to pay an agent and a lawyer and all these people? Well, the best part about it is, their fees, my fee as your agent, the attorney's fee, and the loss mitigation fee, that is all paid from the proceeds in a combination of ways from the bank, from the lender, to get the short sale off the books so they can avoid foreclosure, and it's also paid by the buyer. The buyer agrees to pay some of the fees because they're getting a deal on the home, so they agree to pay some of the fees to the short sale mitigation company as part of the process of negotiating the sale. So, but the agents get paid from the bank, and the attorney gets paid from the buyer and the bank. And, you don't have any money out of your pocket that's owed to anything. So, like, why do you want to do a short sale? Well, here's the thing. If you let them just foreclose on you, which is like the absolute worst thing you could do, okay, it's going to completely trash your credit, like completely trash it. And you're probably not going to be able to buy a house for like another 7 years or so, and that's a long time. Um, so you're thinking to yourself, all right, well, I could just declare bankruptcy and just go that route, and that's kind of like delaying the inevitable, because you may or may not be able to keep your house anyway. But you go through bankruptcy, that's still going to ding your credit really bad. And I think I could be wrong, but I think the last I heard was somewhere around 2 to 3 years from discharge of bankruptcy before you can actually buy a house again. So again, you're going to be stuck renting somewhere for a 2 to 3 year period before you can actually buy. But if you go through a short sale, there's actually lenders out there who will agree to do a loan for you if you meet their requirements for credit scores and everything else, even after your short sale is done, to be able to literally get out of the short sale and then buy a home right after that. There are programs out there for that. Now, not all lenders do it, but again, that's where having an agent, who knows who to talk to and has the connections is going to help you out if you're in a situation where you're selling your house through a short sale. Um, and you want to buy another house. You may not want to buy another house, but the keys to the short sale are this, number one, you have to owe more on the house than what it's worth, period. Because if you don't, then it's not considered a short sale. It's just a hardship or distress sale, or whatever, but you have the equity to be able to make it work. Number two, you have to have some type of qualifying hardship. Now, I mean, hardships can be anything. I've seen, so typical hardships are like a divorce, um, losing a job, losing income from a job. Even though you might keep your job, you might be cut down in your pay and you can't afford your mortgage anymore. Um, Death of a spouse or someone who might have been on the mortgage with you and you counted on their income and you can't now. I've even had some that have had. I had a lady one time who the doctor gave her a letter that said she couldn't do stairs anymore, and her house was not set up to be able to do, like, put in the automatic stair chair lifts and all that. It just wasn't able to do it. And they actually approved her short sale because she couldn't go up and down stairs anymore, and she was in a three-story townhouse with a bunch of stairs just to get up to the front door. So they approved her as a hardship for that. So it really can be anything as long as you get creative with it. You have to have the hardship, and a lot of times it has to do with the loss of income. So um, you know that's pretty much the gist of it. But what'll happen is somebody will make an offer on your house once you get it on the market. The trick is, well, the trick is, let me back up. You have kind of have two trains going at the same time, right? You have the foreclosure train that's going, and then you have the short sale train that's going, and they're both going and they're both trying to come to the finish line, and whatever train gets there first is the one that's going to happen. So just because you're doing a short sale doesn't mean they're not going to foreclose on you. So time is really of the essence to get your sale done and approved, which is why what we try to do is we try to underprice the home below market value to try to get a buyer quickly to submit the contract to the lender and try to get them to approve it before the foreclosure would happen, because a lot of times with short sales, even though you might not be able to qualify to pay your mortgage payment, if you continue to pay your mortgage payment, they're not necessarily going to approve you for a short sale because they're getting your money. So at some point, you're probably going to have to go delinquent on your mortgage, and not all people want to do that. The good news is, I've known people who've been delinquent on their mortgage for years before they foreclose on them. It takes a long, in Maryland, the process is very long to go through the foreclosure process, and it costs a lot of money for the banks, and they wind up losing money on the asset, which is why they'd rather do a short sale and try to cut their loss and minimize their loss, with people that are still living in the house. So there's incentives for everybody to do the short sale, and that's why the banks would prefer to do the short sale over the foreclosure. Um, in most instances. But what we do is we typically will take your price, we'll look at the comps in your neighborhood, and then we're going to price it a little bit under that and try to stimulate a faster offer for you on your house. And then we'll get an offer accepted, and that will be contingent on third party approval, which is your lender approving the short sale. And this does not happen in like 2 weeks. This takes several days, several weeks, sometimes several months. I've had it take as long as like 9 to 10 months to get it approved from the lender. But typically, 60 days is usually a good rule of thumb. We should have a approval in like 60 days, as long as all your other documentation is turned in and you've done everything else that they've asked you to do with your income statements and your pay stubs and all that. It's like getting a loan, but it's kind of like in reverse. Like, but you still got to provide all that same documentation, like you're trying to get a loan, to show them that you can't do the loan. So it's kind of like reverse. But then we'll get that, and obviously we're going to make that contract contingent on them being able to accept the property in as is condition. If they want to do an inspection, whatever, let them do their inspections. But the buyer needs to know up front. We don't have any money. We're not fixing anything. We're not doing anything. So the house is what it is. You either buy it or you don't. If you don't want to do it, we'll put it back on the market, sell it to somebody else. But we don't have time to sit around and wait and play games. So, this is where, again, you need to have an agent who's experienced and knows this stuff, that can get you through your process, because you don't have a lot of time to play with here when you got both trains trying to get that finish line of foreclosure or short sale. So, but when you have, an agent who knows what they're doing, you have an agent that also partners with a loss mitigation team and law firm that can get everything done. That's what they do, is short sales, and that's one of their specialties. You can make good things happen. Everybody's lives are different. Not everybody's in the best position in the world to make it through life without having some type of hardship or financial problems. And this is the solution when you have a house that you have to sell that you owe too much on. Another hardship would be, you getting relocated. If you had to relocate for work or something like that, or whatever, and you couldn't sell your house because you owe too much on it. That stuff happens. It happens all the time to people, and not every company offers relocation benefits. And buys your house from you and all that, just to move you across the country to put you in another area. So it's just some stuff to think about that not everybody thinks about. About the big picture here. You want to minimize the risk to the downgrade of your credit scores. A short sale looks a lot better than a foreclosure. It looks a lot better than a bankruptcy. So it's better, than that. It's debt that was discharged. Um, there are some tax implications. They did pass laws back in '08, '09, 2010, I think 11, 12. And I don't know if they ever were completely enacted into law forever. But they did. It was called Debt Forgiveness Relief Act. And basically, any debt that was forgiven was not treated as income. They just waived it so you didn't have to pay taxes on it. But if they didn't renew that, if you're forgiven $100,000, they might treat that as income, and you might be responsible to pay taxes on the difference of that. So that's something, again, you want to talk to an attorney about. Well, I have one for free that you can talk to about your situation. So, and it's all part of the process. So if you find yourself in a situation where you're like, I don't know if I can avoid a short sale or not, And sometimes you're so close with your equity and being able to get out of the house that we can sometimes avoid the short sale altogether and just price the house at the bottom number and just say, look, this is it. My sellers don't have any money. If you can't make this work, we got to do a short sale. And sometimes you can find a buyer and get them to agree to buy the house in the condition it is for the right price and get you out of your situation with avoiding it altogether. If the equity is close enough in your house, it's just back in '08 and '09, people lost so much money. I mean, you were talking about people that bought a house for like $400,000, and 2 years later, it was worth $250,000. It's like they lost $150,000 in equity, and they were upside down because they still owed 375 on this house, even though they put down what they did. So, they couldn't sell for 375 because it was selling for 250, and through no fault of their own. It just the market just changed, and this is something that people don't want to talk about, that happens in real estate, but it's very true. It happens sometimes, and this market, I know everybody's all, happy and singing and dancing and clapping about how high their values are, their house and everything, except when they got to pay the property taxes because it's based off the new assessments, but, they're all happy about all this, and that's all great and fine and dandy, but don't pull all your equity out of your house just yet, because you never know when these values are going to change and the market changes. It's bound to happen. You know, these prices cannot go up forever. At some point, they're going to stop going up, and there's going to be a correction. And it's just good to keep that in the back of your head. And then on the flip side, if you have a house to sell and you're ready to move, now's a great time to do it, because you're getting top dollar for your house. I can't believe what these prices are right now. I'm going into these new construction homes, and I just can't believe what people are paying for these new construction homes, that's driving up the prices of the resale market too. So, you got to thank your builders for getting what they're getting for their houses, because that's driving everything else up in the resale market. So, that's pretty much it. That's all I want to talk about today. But if you find yourself in a situation where you're considering a short sale, or you're getting in trouble with getting some default letters, and some intent letters about foreclosure and stuff like that, give me a call. I'll talk to you, see where we're at, get you over to my law firm that we work with, and see if they can help you out. And if it's too late in the process for you and foreclosure is too close, sometimes that's the case, and there's just nothing we can do because it's just not enough time. But a lot of times, if you don't avoid the letters, and you really, when you start getting them, call. That's when you need to call. That's when you need to find out your options. And if you know somebody who's in a situation where it's tight and it's tough, share this video with them, because this might be exactly what they were looking for, the solution that they were searching for and hoping for and praying for, that they'd have an option to sell their house, even though they didn't never thought possible that they'd be able to do it, and they would just have to get foreclosed on. So a lot of people just don't know that this program is available. So share it, spread the word, like, comment, and God bless everybody, and thanks for taking the time to watch this video. If I can be of any help or service to you, you can always reach me on my direct cell at 410-236-3331. You can reach me, pretty much from like 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning till 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. Pretty much 7 days a week. So Eastern time, please, for those of you who are in California. Don't be calling me at 12 o'clock in the morning. I don't need that, because that happens sometimes. People don't realize that I'm on Eastern time. But so anywhere you are, even if you're not in the state of Maryland, give me a call. I'll help you find a real estate agent who's a short sale specialist in your area, or somebody who knows what they're doing, knows what they're talking about. Because trust me, not everybody does. Not everybody does, especially people that weren't around during that 08, 09, and 2010 market, where it was all short sales. Everything was short sales. So, all right. Take care. Have a great day.